Alright guys, so today I'm actually going to show you how I will color this here. Cool, so we are in my office, home studio, edit space, whatever you want to call it. Spoiler alert, I did shave my beard. And yeah, let's get to it. So this is how I pretty much colored the intro. So this is, I'll just make this the hero shot of it right here. So let's go in. So I've already colored, you know, the beginning of it, made myself a little LUT. And let's go in. So the first thing I like to do when I color is I honestly drop the lift, probably about like -6, looks good on here. Then I'll raise up the color boost, let's do probably like 30-ish, 32, that works for me. And then we'll come up here and raise up the contrast. That looks good. So this really just kind of gives a base of, you know, what the colors are originally inside of the shot. And then I'll raise up the saturation, probably about right here. And we can drop the shadows. Let's go a little more. Probably about right there. And then we'll raise up the highlights. That looks good right there. So once we have this established right here, we will raise up the gain a little bit. And over here, on like this like little dial, we're actually going to bring the gain a little bit up towards the oranges, and then on the gamma we will drop it a little bit towards the teal blues, and then on the lift we'll kind of do the same thing, a little bit towards the blues, and that looks pretty solid. I think we're going to raise up the contrast a little bit more. So we're going to go into the HDR. Then in the shadows, we will bring it, actually let's bring it up. Let's bring it into the, like a little bit warmer. So like the oranges, and then in the light, slightly into the blues, and in the dark, we will go, let's go orange, a little bit orange. So that looks pretty solid. So we'll go into the RGB mixer, and then we're gonna go into the blue output, and then we'll probably mess with the red a little bit. So for the blue, that is way too much. Bring it down. Nope, that's too much. Let's go like 0.2 or 0.3. 0.3. We'll probably leave these two. Let's actually check out this right here. We'll drop this down a little bit. Drop this down a little bit. So that one was in the green actually. And then for the red, probably just pull that down a little bit. So let's go over into the curves. So we're just going to drop in 3 little points right here. So we're going to bring this down, not too much. We're trying to be really subtle with these effects. And then we'll raise it up here, because as you can see, the highlights really only affect the sky and the Jeep. And the goal is to make the Jeep pop out. So let's go into the hue versus hue. So we're going to make a mark on pretty much all of them. So let's raise up the orange yellowish, because we're trying to get a lot of oranges inside of these leaves. And then we'll raise up the green a little bit to kind of make the, I guess, roll off between the colors smooth. And then for the blues, we're actually going to drop these just a little bit so that the blue almost turns into like a purplish, or like a kind of like a silver blue is kind of what I'm going for. So then on the hue versus sat, we're actually going to drop the blues pretty significantly. You know, we really don't want them to pop out. And then we'll drop the purples to just give it a smooth roll off. And then we will just barely drop the oranges. Cool, that looks pretty solid. And then in the luminance, we will actually raise up the blue slightly. So that's going to kind of make the Jeep pop out. And then we're going to drop the oranges slightly. So now I actually think I can add a little bit more color into this. Probably 56, that looks solid. Now we're gonna go into the color warper, and we're actually gonna kind of pull it like down and almost in the middle of this line right here. Again, not a lot, very smooth. And I honestly think that we're kind of done. I'm actually gonna raise up the temperature a little bit. It seems a little bit cool for me. Let's go like 330. 330 looks solid. So yeah, that's kind of your beginning to end. And obviously, you know, if I was really going into color this, I'd probably spend another 20-30 minutes on this clip and then really fine tune it. But I think with where it's at, it's pretty solid. I actually am gonna raise up the contrast slightly. Cool. So let's actually take a screen grab of this. So it's gonna go into the gallery, and then we'll just kind of see what it looks like on the other clips. I think that's pretty solid. I'll probably actually drop the temperature a little bit. Let's check this out. We can drop the temperature a little bit more on here. I think I'm actually going to drop the blues a little bit more. Let's give a smooth roll off. Drop it a little bit more over here. And we can actually probably raise up the contrast on this clip a little bit. Go over here. I think that looks solid. Let's go over here. I think that looks good. Let's go here. I noticed that there's a lot of like, kind of like a greenish in the tires over here. So let's see if we can actually kind of get rid of that a little bit. Let's go over to this. This is probably my least favorite shot in here. So we're actually gonna raise up the highlights, probably lift the shadows a bit, probably drop the temperature slightly, and we'll raise up the contrast. So for the most part, this is kind of how I would approach coloring something like this. Let's take a look at it, see how it flows. Yeah, looks good. Cool. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for stopping by. If you could, hit that like button, subscribe button. I think I'm sitting at like 67 subs at the moment. So shout out to all y'all that have subbed. And I look forward to keep doing this and doing this more. So thank you again, and hope y'all have a good night or day or whenever you're watching this or whatever. So thank you again. Peace.